Hello, assalamu alaikum. I hope that you are well. So I'm going to jump straight into this video because the title gives everything away. I am running a 1 week ladies trip to Morocco next March and I would like you to come with me. Now at the end of this video or towards the end, I'm going to just explain kind of what tours and travels and things I've done before, especially if you're new to my channel. It's probably good to know like exactly who I am and why I'm doing these tours. But for now I am going to just jump straight into it and just tell you more about this particular tour. If you're tight on time or you just prefer to read things, then go to the link in the description. That has got my blog post, which has got all of the details on the tour, the price, the itinerary, all of the details. And if you are interested in joining the tour after watching this, then the next step is really to go onto that blog post. Just make sure you read all of the information, make sure you're clear. And then there is a link to a Google document kind of questionnaire. I just ask you a couple of questions about yourself and obviously contact details, just so I can get to know you, understand like what really interests you about this tour, and just make sure you're clear on a few of the points, because it is a bit of an off the beaten path tour, which I feel like that's my travel style anyway, which is why I wanted to create this tour. It'll just take a few minutes, and that is the next step of then joining. I will get your answers and then I will proceed with letting you know like how you can book. But for now, let's get into the details. So this, like I said, is a 1 week, 8-day, 7-night ladies trip to Morocco. We are starting and ending in Marrakesh. The tour starts on Friday the 3rd of March and it ends on Friday the 10th of March 2023. Now if you are Muslim and you're watching this and you're interested, I wanted to kind of get this tour in before Ramadan, but at the same time, you know, Morocco does have a winter, so I wanted to make sure it was kind of in the springtime, not January, February, where it's going to be quite cold. So I think in March it will be nice spring days. It won't be crazy hot. It will cool off in the evenings, especially as we're going to be in the desert, but as long as we take our woolies, we will be okay. I was in Marrakesh on a family holiday in August and it was so hot. It was like mid 40s and yeah, it was hard. So I'm looking forward to going back to Morocco and to Marrakesh, not in those temperatures. Although we start and end in Marrakesh, we are focusing mainly on this tour on the South Saharan Desert. Now there are many tours, like 1 week tours around Morocco. There's a very kind of popular circuit, which is essentially what we are doing. But the difference in this tour and the unique selling point of this is that we are going to be in the South Saharan Desert. This is a part of the Sahara Desert that not all tours go to. This is not where your average group tour goes to. When you look on the map, we're actually going to be closer to Algeria. We're really close to Algeria. And it's kind of a road trip tour. So as we drive from Marrakesh, we're going to have some time in the Atlas Mountains. We're going to be visiting a lot of the Kasbahs, is that how you say it? Kasbah? There's images up here. I had to Google what Kasbah meant. It means the citadel of a North African city. So these are definitely images I think you can see that a lot of us want to see in Morocco. After that, then we do go into the South Saharan Desert and we will swap our minibus for a 4x4 Jeep, which will take us most of the way through the desert. And then we're actually spending 2 nights of the tour in a desert camp, so 2 different desert camps. And the first one that we have to go to, we have to actually get on a camel and do an hour's ride. If you're not happy with camel riding, you can't do it for whatever reason, you don't want to do it, then you can get a 4x4. But included within the tour package, there is the chance to arrive at the camp by camel and then depart by camel as well. These are kind of luxury desert camps. Of course, some of the facilities are going to be limited. It's not a hotel or anything like that, which is kind of what I want to make sure that the people that come on this trip, you know, the ladies are aware that we're definitely not it's definitely not basic camping, like we're still very luxurious camping for being in the desert. Now, whilst we're down that way in Morocco, we're in the very south, as part of our tour, we are going to be doing some artisan visits. So we're going to be visiting and meeting artisan women in the Saharan Carpet Cooperative, the Women's Argan Oil Cooperative, making bread in the oasis with the women of the village down in the Sahara. Going to be meeting some jewelry makers in one of the oases we're going to as well. And I think this is really important. You know, this is a women's tour, and I want us to be able to meet local women. Perhaps some of us will, well, I don't know how good my Arabic's going going to be by the time we go. Inshallah, that's going to be an aim, to have better Arabic, I guess, by the time I go to Morocco. But I think it will just be really nice to be able to connect with these women. You know, they live in a really, really remote area of Morocco, on the edge of the Saharan Desert. So I think that's going to be really interesting. And just one of those experiences also that you don't get from just going there yourself on your own trip. You know, for me, I've done a lot of independent travel. Majority of my trips have been independent travel, which I've loved. But there is a place for doing tours. You know, how much we're going to see in 7 days. Like, you couldn't do all of this by yourself in 7 days. You know, it would take so many logistics as well. What I also love is the company that I am partnering with this, Mahara Morocco Tours. They are run by a man called Hassan, and him and his family are from one of these villages in the South Saharan Desert, and he knows everyone down there, and he knows everyone that we're going to be meeting on this tour. So, and he's going to be able to answer every question that you have about the community, about the culture, about, you know, the religion, everything in this area of Morocco. And that's really, really important to me. And definitely when I've traveled independently, that is the kind of stuff that you miss out on. You miss getting a deeper understanding if you can't speak the language, or places like this are just too hard to get to by yourself, which is why I'm so excited by this trip. You know, when I did a lot of research into different tours I can do in Morocco. What really, really excites me, I wasn't even set on doing my next tour to Morocco. I just was in Morocco this summer. And then I just thought, oh, it would be really, really cool. But I was waiting for, you know, something to really reach out and grab me and make me really excited. And this tour makes me really excited because it is off the beaten path. We're not doing your average week in Morocco. We're going to be visiting some really, really unique places and have a really unique experience because of our tour guide. Now, on that note, ideally for me, and going forward with my tours, you know, these are all women tours, I would love to have a female tour guide. I asked the company about this when we've been speaking. We are having, on our second day of the tour, so on the Saturday, we're going to be doing a full day tour in Marrakesh, which, yeah, I'm really excited for. I'm excited for everything. And we will have a female tour guide, a local female tour guide for that. But the company's response back to having a female tour guide for the whole tour, which I expected anyway, is that, you know, in most countries, to be honest, you know, it's not the culture for women to be a tour guide, especially in this area of Morocco in the desert. It's not the culture. And, you know, and also a lot of women don't want to do it. You know, if being a tour guide like this, you know, you have to be away for, you know, a week, 2 weeks at a time. And so in a lot of countries in the world, it's just not what generally a lot of women want to do unless they're a lot younger, and they're just doing it for a bit of fun. But, you know, generally they kind of move out of that, whereas men do tend to kind of stay doing these jobs, which is totally fine. So I'm glad I asked the question. I knew it wouldn't always be possible, and I didn't want to like not do a location just because that's not possible, because it is going to be quite hard to do going forward. But I'm going to try my best. But anyways, we are going to be with Hassan for pretty much the whole of the trip. But he's, you know, this is his company, which he runs with a woman. She's a Scottish woman. That's who I've been speaking to. Just they're so passionate about these tours. They've been running them for a long, long time. They know the areas so well, and I just can't wait to experience this area with you and through them. Now, I wanted to tell you that, and that kind of ties into one of the next points of the trip as well. I wanted that this trip is not just for Muslim women. I know recently I've co-hosted some retreats that were just for Muslim women, from the nature of, you know, the activities and we were providing and the kind of, you know, community that we wanted to build. We wanted that to be just Muslim women and for women to connect through the religion. But, you know, being like a revert Muslim myself, I've only been Muslim for 2 years anyway. I've done most of my travels not being Muslim. I've run previous tours not being Muslim. You know, I really want us just to get together as women and to connect and have a really, you know, like-minded group of women, but also a women from a range of, you know, countries and ages and backgrounds and beliefs, everything. You know, that's not, you know, if you are watching this and you're not Muslim, like this isn't an only Muslim tour. So obviously if you are Muslim and you want to come, then I want you to make you aware that it's not just Muslim women. And then also, for example, like we are going to be having Hassan with us the whole time. But he's Muslim himself. He knows the deal of being with a group of Muslim women. And so I have no doubt about the fact that he's going to be super respectful. So yeah, so I don't know if I've described I wanted to keep this quite quite quick, but I don't know if I really have. But some of the highlights of the tour, like I said, we're going to be starting with a day tour around Marrakesh, and then we will leave for the Atlas Mountains on the technically day 3, which is the Sunday. We'll be visiting date palms. Well, like I said, we're going to be visiting a lot of Casbahs, and then we're going to be starting really the road trip down to the Saharan Desert. And that's what's also really unique about this tour, is that it has got like kind of a road trip vibe, just because the scenery down all the way down south into the southern part of Morocco is absolutely stunning. Like, the company that I'm working with said this is one of their top tours, and yeah, I just can't wait for it. And then we're spending the 2 nights at the 2 different desert camps, and we're going to be able to climb some of the dunes, watch sunset there, watch sunrise there. But also I think what's going to be interesting is both desert camps, they're in a slightly different part of the desert, of course, but each of them are going to have their own uniqueness to them. And then we're going to see a lot of the artisan women before then heading to an oasis and heading back towards Marrakesh. Now, on the last day, on the Friday, technically the tour kind of finishes after breakfast, but if you do want to stay and have a little bit more time in Marrakesh, perhaps you're Muslim and you want to stay and pray Jummah, then you can do that. We went to the mosque when we were in Marrakesh, actually, so that it's definitely possible for women to pray Jummah prayer in the mosque, the main mosque in Marrakesh. And then, yeah, if you want to stay for longer, you want to go to some other places, then I'm more than happy to kind of help give you some ideas on that, or you can kind of fly back as I'm going to be doing later on the Friday. Now, it is going to be a fairly small tour. It's going to be between kind of 15 and 18 women, including myself. And all the rooms are going to be twin sharing, and in the camps we may have more than 2 people in a room. It may be slightly larger rooms, just because of the nature of the places where we're staying, whether it's kind of boutique riad style accommodation when we're not in the camps, you know, they don't really have many rooms. They're very kind of smaller properties, which is something that I'm really focused on. You know, I want to be able to support smaller independent properties rather than the bigger hotels, but they just don't have as many rooms, obviously, in these places. And, you know, we want to keep the group together in one accommodation. So rather than having single occupancy offered, it is just going to be all twin shared occupancy. Now, often I know women say like they want their own room, and some people can get really put off by it. And even though I've shared rooms with so many people and so many different situations in the past, I know that I always initially want a single room. But then once I get there and you meet your roommate and you get chatting, it's just so nice. So I really ask you to be open-minded about that, because it's really not a problem. Now, for the tour cost and the inclusions and the exclusions, I am going to say just go over to the blog post, which is linked in here, because I've just listed it so much more clearer than I think I'm going to be able to reel it off for you. But I do want you to know that so much is included in the tour cost. Obviously, all of the accommodation, all of the transports, and actually the majority of our meals, there's only 1 dinner and 1 lunch out of the whole week that's not included. And that basically is just so that we can decide, like on the last night in Marrakesh, like where we want to go rather than having a set place. And on the lunch, maybe you won't have arrived in Marrakesh yet. So so much is included. It's literally just going to be like your flights, your travel insurance, some snacks and things, and then any personal shopping that you want to do. But Morocco is a fairly cheap country to travel to, especially if you're coming from, you know, Western countries when you compare it. So we shouldn't need to be spending as much there. There is a deposit to be paid, which is £300 in order to guarantee your place. And once you've filled in the Google Doc form, then I will send you the details for that. And then we just need the final payment like a couple of weeks before. So I feel like I probably haven't like explained everything really, really well. That's why I'm going to tell you, please go and read the blog post. If you have got any questions, then do just leave a comment on the bottom of the blog post, or come over to me on Instagram and then just ask me on Instagram. Please don't ask me in the comments here, because I really don't monitor the comments on YouTube, because sometimes comments are not nice on YouTube and it can just be full of like rubbish. So I just don't even really bother looking, to be honest. But please do come over to me on Instagram. I look at all of my DMs, and then if you comment on the blog post, I will see that as well. So yes, if you are looking for a really epic trip for next year that is only 1 week as well, like we're going to be seeing so much in 1 week. I know, like with annual leave, or if you've got kids, you know, it can be harder to go away for more than 1 week. So I'm really happy that we're able to kind of put so much into 1 week. It's going to feel like we've been away for like 2 or 3 weeks, honestly. And even if you've been to Marrakesh before, even if you've been to Morocco, you know, I think this is a really, really unique look at it. Maybe going to push you out of your comfort zone with a few things, which is nothing wrong with that. That is what travel is all about. I love going out of my comfort zone. I love pushing people out of their comfort zone, and I will be here to help you as well. You know, this kind of trip is like something that's just, like I said, I was just hooked from the moment I saw this itinerary, and we've now kind of adapted the itinerary a little bit more with the company to make it personal for us and personal for the fact that it is a group of ladies that are going to be going on it. I also don't want you to worry about maybe you are different ages, maybe you're older than me, maybe you're younger than me. You know, actually I said I was going to talk about this and I haven't yet. This year I've co-hosted 3 retreats for Muslim women, and what's been amazing is the range of ages. We've had women who are, you know, in their 60s, in their 50s, like literally all ages, 40s, 30s like me, 20s, even some kind of in their late teens. Some of them actually came like with their mothers, which was really nice. And you know, the age doesn't matter as long as you are physically fit to kind of do a few of the activities and be walking and kind of have longer days, then you are going to be absolutely fine on the trip. And I think it's so nice to have a range of ages anyway. It just means that everyone can connect on different levels. You can learn from each other, you know. The older women we can learn from a little bit more, and then often the older women say, you know, we love being with the younger women because they help give us energy and things like that, which is really nice. And prior to this, prior to the pandemic, I ran 2 group tours to India, similar to this kind of thing, to be honest. And again, I had women join who were a range of ages, different backgrounds, different different countries, and everyone just got on so amazingly. So this is something that I do, you know, intend to keep doing going forward, is running these trips, you know, to different locations. Like if you are wondering as well, you know, once this is sold out, that's going to be it. I don't plan to run this a second time. I'm going to be then running a different location in a couple of months time, probably after Ramadan, like late, you know, early summer or something like that. You know, for me, I love to travel, and I have, you know, more limited time now. You know, I'm married, I've got stepsons, I've got a house, we're looking to buy a house soon. So I can't be away that much. So when I do want to be away, you know, I really want to do something like epic and something different, and this is what I really want to bring you along for as well. So thank you very much for watching this. I hope to see some of you watching this in Morocco. Of course, we will speak before if you are, so I hope to see some of you in my emails soon, inshallah, and thank you for all of your continued support as well.